Tonight, the Don Callis family gets bigger as we have a shocking return and a debut. We have a mixed tornado tag for the first time in feels like forever. And James is upset because Kenny, as he mentioned before we started, is his wrestling monkey paw. Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by James Asante, back here again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite. This was the 6-year anniversary of, was it Dynamite or of AEW as a whole? Either way.
Dynamite. I think it's Dynamite specifically.
Either way, we were celebrating. Some of us were. And depending on who you're a fan of, you might be celebrating or you might be punching a wall. At the moment, James is doing both. Let's start at the top of the show where we quickly saw the Young Bucks earlier in the day as they were standing outside an unnamed casino in Hollywood, Florida. If you don't know which one it is, it's shaped like a guitar. Anyway,
advertising.
Exactly. Anyway, they are there for the first time in a long time, and Nick is very excited because Nick is a degenerate gambler, but Matt is preaching a little bit of restraint with the remaining money they have from their winnings a few weeks ago, especially because Matt has planned an extravagant entrance for them tonight. So he's like, Nick, I'll spend a little bit of the money. You've been spending it. I guess I'll spend some. I'm going to go take care of things. Don't do anything stupid. And what does Nick do? He immediately looks at Brendan Cutler, who's back behind the camera, and goes, Brendan, we can double it. We then get a quick montage of Nick in the casino, and it ends with him out in the back where Matt finds him after looking all over for him. Matt's got the whole entrance planned out, all the pyro, flames, everything they've got. He just needs the bag, and he takes it, and that's how he discovers it's empty. And we then transition into the ring where the Bucks already are as Matt is just staring down Nick, and Justin Roberts gives them the jobber entrance with their cry-on saying, "The Broke Bucks," and the upper third saying, "Account balance $0.00."
They've had some very great entrances since like the loss of the EVP stuff. This was absolutely my favorite. Just the straight up in the ring jobber entrance. Perfection.
I think they've gotten a jobber entrance before, but this one was funnier just because there was a whole build up to it.
Yeah.
And we now have the official return of the Broke Bucks after they've, had the money for the past few weeks and they've been able to spend it a little bit. Before we get into the match itself, I want to say hello to Maria, who called tonight a very entertaining episode of Dynamite, and say hello to Fernando as well, who gave it a solid flame emoji. All right, heading into the match, we saw Kenny Omega and team up with Brodido, the tag team champs of Brody King and Bandido, face off against the aforementioned Bucks and Josh Alexander. And during the entrances, you can kind of see that Kenny got the Bucks pyro. Excuse me.
Oh, that was so good. I love that. I'm glad you caught that too, because commentary didn't really acknowledge it. It was just, okay, this is Kenny's entrance, but it was so over the top for what Kenny usually gets. It was perfect.
One of them threw it out there. I think.
That? I didn't hear it. But
I wasn't sure if it was Taz or Brian, but one of them definitely did. Anyway, we also had that carny piece of shit, Don Callis, on commentary for most of the match. He did run off briefly when Kenny went after him following hitting a Terminator dive, which I thought was pretty funny. Don sprinted into the crowd, which was great. To hit the end of the match, Brody took out Nick as he was flying in for a TK driver on Kenny, and then Kenny reversed out of Matt's pile driver and hit a bunch of driving suplexes, eventually driving Matt from the ring. Kenny was then able to take out Josh Alexander and just hit him with all the classics. Reverse Rana, powerbomb, V-trigger, and eventually lined up Alexander in the ropes. Kenny and Brodido then shoot the finger guns before Kenny takes off, hits the ropes, and hits another V-trigger And then Brodido hit the ropes themselves using the finish they used last week with Brody hitting the tope suicida, this time onto the Bucks, and Bandido hitting Alexander with the 21-plex. Kenny then got Alexander up and hit the one-winged angel and picked up the W. Now, obviously, a lot happened after this, James, which we'll get to in a second. But very fun match. I was expecting a little more PWG, but it's pretty much what we got out of it. So good opening match. And it was nice to see the original founding members of the Elite in the ring together, even though they weren't on the same side.
I love this matchup. I found myself having so much fun while watching it. It reminded me of early days AEW where a match could be anything. They were having fun in this match, and by extension, I had fun watching them. There was the Macarena attempt. There was
they got it done. I think they cut off there briefly because the Bucks came back into the ring, and then Brody just came barreling in and took them out. So
yeah. When he eventually does do the Macarena with Bandido, the place is going to explode.
Yeah.
But
all in next year when they're still tag champs.
Right. Jesus. Beyond that, the matchup just had so much good action to it. Like, all 6 men are just so good. I have been clawing. I've been dying to get Kenny versus Alexander one-on-one.
Alexander has been clawing and dying to get Kenny versus Alexander one-on-one.
We've had several multi-man matches now at this point, and every time they have a spot, I know something great is coming, and they had just excellent chemistry throughout. Kenny looked good tonight. Like, I didn't think Kenny looked bad before he was gone for this last month or so, but I know people had a lot of things to say. I think he shut up a lot of people tonight. And yeah, just really fun matchup. The 21-plex into the one-winged angel just feels unfair. Like, he's dead. Just count it, you know? But great matchup, great way to start the show. And like you said, it was cool to see the founding members of the Elite in the first segment of this very important Dynamite.
Yeah, I will say this about Kenny. I think he might be like a half a step slower at worst, maybe a quarter step. Now, granted, Kenny a quarter to a half step slower is better than most anybody else on the planet.
Exactly.
But because he's always been so good and so crisp, it's noticeable. But it doesn't mean he's bad. It's just you're like, okay, maybe he's a quarter step slower, but it doesn't matter. He's still going to shock and awe you with everything he does. And granted, I don't know if he'll ever get back, but there are very good reasons as to why, and he's still going to put on bangers.
I don't know if, I mean, obviously there's going to be a level of bias just because of how much I love Kenny. And I think I'd agree with you that I've noticed it in some matches before. I don't know that I noticed it tonight. Like, I've definitely noticed a somewhat slower Kenny, 1 with age, 2 with all the medical issues. But I didn't feel I noticed that tonight. I thought tonight he was operating pretty smoothly, pretty fluidly.
I think the one that stood out to me was towards the end when he attempted to hit the poison rod, reverse rod, or whatever you want to call it, onto Alexander, and it just wasn't as clean as it usually is. Now, I don't know if that's on him or Alexander, but I was just like, yeah, it's just something that's going to happen with Kenny right now.
I did notice that he kind of landed on his own shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I did notice that. But in general, that's just a move that's always hard to make look crisp every time.
It's just one of those things where Kenny is almost always so perfect that when he does miss something, because he almost always nails that perfectly, it just stands out. And again, I am totally okay with 99 to 98% Kenny Omega. And I'm sure as he gets healthier and can be in the ring more, we'll probably even see that less, because I'm sure he still has a little bit of ring rust. Physically, he looks like he's in a different shape. I don't want to say he's out of shape, but I imagine he can't work out the same way he used to. Yeah. So, I think he's put on a little bit more mass, and I imagine he's still adjusting to that as well.
He looked a lot more cut tonight.
He did look thinner than he did last time. I'll give you that. But I probably like physically for his, it's just, I guess specifically talking about his midsection, I have to imagine he has to work out differently. And that'll, that kind of changes your body type. So he's probably adjusting to that as well. Granted, I am nitpicking the ever-living shit out of one of the all-time greats at the moment.
Yes.
But when you put on that level of match at that consistency, when you see even the slightest, downtick, you're like, oh, okay. But again, who cares? It's Kenny fucking Omega.
I will remember this disrespect.
It is not disrespect. It's just a small footnote that I've spent way too much time on. To keep things moving here, after the match, Brodido just kind of headed straight to the back, and with Alexander still on the floor, and Kenny kind of waited around to kind of try to talk to the Bucks. But as he's kind of talking to them, we didn't really get on the live mics, the ring mics, what he was saying. But Alexander recovers enough to get up and hit Kenny with a thrust kick before just jumping on top of him and beating him down. With the Bucks fairly reluctant to join in. They're kind of like, oh, come on, but like they're not really stopping him. Eventually, though, it's kind of stopped when the music of Jurassic Express hits and Jack Perry and Luchasaurus come out. And after kind of staring everybody down, they attack the Bucks first, and then they take out Alexander when he finally decides he's had enough of Omega and attempts to attack Jack. Kenny then gets up and starts arguing with Perry because of their whole history together. With Perry, like, what the hell? We just saved you. He's like, I don't care. Fuck you. The two get into a bit of a shoving match until Jack eventually just moves Kenny aside to go hit the Bucks with a tope because they were standing back up. Luchasaurus then follows him to the outside, and Jurassic Express fights the Bucks into the back. Kenny, with the ring finally cleared, then grabs a microphone, says it's been 6 years, and he's seen some of the highest of highs and lowest of lows, since day one. Sometimes it's not about those. It's about taking pride in the journey itself. He appreciates everybody who's come, whether it's your first show here tonight or you've been there since day one. We've made a lot of friends along the way, and unfortunately even lost a few, but he is looking towards the future, and the future seems bright. And so now he must bid you adieu. So good night, mwah, or goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang. And as he does that, the lights go out. And when they come back on, a masked figure is behind him, and the mask comes off and reveals himself to be motherfucking Andrade, who's behind Kenny, and then he immediately attacks him following taking off his mask. He then hits looked to be like the hammerlock neck breaker instead of his old hammerlock DDT. And then Don goes into the ring, tentatively puts out his hand, and Andrade shakes it and eventually embraces Don, and Don raises his hand. And then the two walk out, but not before Andrade gets one more shot to Kenny as Kenny tries to get up and get after Don again. So, James, as I made the tease at the top of the show, monkey paw situation here for you at least. You got Kenny back tonight after his, a small hiatus there for some planned medical work. But in order to do so, you not only got Andrade back, but Andrade now seems like he's going to be in a bit of feud with Kenny.
I don't know what I've done to anger the wrestling gods.
Rooted for John Cena for 20 years.
And I was damn right to do so.
I'm just filling in for Danny there.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man, I enjoyed the after match stuff. I enjoyed that Kenny did not immediately accept Jungle Boy's help. And that's consistent with Kenny. We've seen that. Like, Kenny takes time in forgiving people. Like, that was the thing with Ospreay too. That was the thing. It took a while for him and Hangman to get back on the same page too. He's always been very slow to the draw when it comes to accepting former adversaries' reconciliation. So
even Coda, and
that was more on him. That was more on him than anything. But yeah, so I love that. I love that detail. I don't know how I feel about Kenny and the Bucks reuniting yet, because I think the Bucks are just doing excellent heel work right now. And I don't want that to end by being associated with Kenny, so they just automatically become baby faces. And granted, we're seeing in AEW that you don't need to change your personality just because of your partnership. Like we were seeing this with Cope and Christian. Christian is just as much a bastard as he was before they reconciled. But I just think it's going to be different with Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah.
And I don't want down on their luck Bucks to end for a while.
And I don't think it will. Like, I don't know if this was a tease, but it kind of more felt like Kenny being like, I wish we could hear what he said. Yeah. If he was just like, hey, like, it's the 6th year, like, let's just say something. We don't have to be friends. Like, that would make sense. But, if he was trying to, like, get them back into the circle there, I don't think I would like it either. It's too soon for the Bucks. I think they still need to kind of continue their heel work, whether it's Broke Bucks or whatever it is, just because the matches they've been putting on are so good. I've said this before. I think they'll organically get over the way they did the first time.
Yeah.
Just by putting on good matches over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want that. Point of procedure, though, Christian is not a bastard. He's an asshole.
Tomato, potato, but fair.
I say spud. Andrade, though, I mean,
look,
I know you have your issues with him.
I am a bigger fan of Andrade's in-ring work than most. I think he is a very, very strong wrestler. I think he's also got, at times, a decent character when he's not up his own ass so much. But I think my issue with Andrade, who is now officially the first back and forth jumper between AEW and WWE, that he went from WWE to AEW, then from AEW back to WWE, and now we're seeing him back in AEW from WWE. First one to do it. We'd all been speculating, when was it going to happen? Who was it going to be? We were kind of hoping for it to be Mariah May down the road. Did not expect it to be Andrade, who, quite frankly, burnt his bridge, I thought, with AEW and with Tony Khan, considering how his last run went. But we're here. He's back. I have to accept it. I have to pretend I'm okay. All joking aside, he looked good. The long hair took me a second to get used to.
Yeah, highlights on the ends.
Yeah. He looked really strong next to Kenny, dropping Kenny the way he did. So yeah, man, I really appreciated all of this. All of it felt like classic AEW. Fun match, strong match, the elite, a return, like a joining, like new guy joins big group. That's classic, vintage, retro AEW. So this was a fun way to start the show. Got me excited for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I think your biggest problem is just the who in the classic
100%,
version. But
100%. I mean, I am never going to love a segment ending with Kenny having been on the losing end of something. But I persevere. I'm strong enough to persevere. Andrade made it tougher, but it was still overall a very good segment.
Yeah, it was just very well executed as Matt joins us. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening.
We were just discussing Andrade's debut here. James is a little disappointed just because it's Andrade. Yeah. I, for one, although James, you mentioned you're a big fan of his in-ring work. I love his in-ring work as well. I thought his last, month or so in AEW was great in the C2, which was his
last month in the company. Worth it. The rest of his time there. What are we doing here?
I mean, some of it was really good. Some of it, he was being a schmuck, and then I get they kind of all reconciled. He put on a strong showing in the C2, and then he ended up leaving. But his character work never really I've never minded. It's more of his out of the ring, in real life stuff where you can just tell the man has a bit of an ego, and I think it gets in his own way sometimes. And between leaving AEW the first time and now being let go from WWE a second time, I think his ego has been checked a little bit. And hopefully, Matt, he's a little more cooperative this second time around in AEW.
I mean, hopefully we can get him a manager because his in-ring work is really good, but he needs some kind of shtick or.
Well, good news. He's got one because he joined the Don Callis family.
Oh, and he's got to lose the black mask from Batman. Like, until that character reemerges in the DCU, like, just give it a rest. And he was fun in SummerSlam, but, like, I hated that he was in that WrestleMania match last year. So that's all I wanted to say. Check me and James out tomorrow on the Kelly Clarkson Show. James will be dressed up as John Cena, and I'll be dressed up as The Rock. All right.
Thanks, Matt. Same self-promotion there, but you can't say I blame the man. James, anything what I said, like in terms of what I was saying before I threw Matt?
I completely agree. Jesus Christ. I completely agree. I'm going to compare him to somebody else, and believe me, they're not the same. It's no different than if Punk came back to AEW. I would still feel salty. I would still have a sour taste in my mouth. It's all because of the backstage stuff. It's all about how these guys handled themselves. Andrade got into a fist fight. Well, not even a fight. He just punched Sammy Guevara in the face. He apparently had issues that he didn't want to lose to a lot of people. And we don't need that negativity in AEW. And if we're going to take that negativity, you take it from a name like CM Punk.
Yeah.
I said it to you the moment I joked about it in our chat. I joked about it online. The moment I saw Andrade was gone from WWE, I said, Toni better have friggin' wanted posters on the wall saying not allowed, not welcome. And here we are. So, look, everybody deserves a second chance. Some people a third chance. I'm willing to give it to him. To Matt's credit, a good point that he made in his very brief appearance here. It is good that he's now aligned with someone like Don Callis, who's going to be able to do the talking for him.
Yeah.
That is a huge, unfortunate weakness of Andrade's, just because he has had trouble, I guess, or just hasn't been interested in learning the language. So there's always been a level of disconnect, and it's not like a lot of the Japanese stars that we see that they play into it. Andrade just seems to struggle to cut a promo.
Okay, how you know?
Exactly. Granted, probably his greatest contribution to professional wrestling.
One of the funniest, if not the funniest thing he's ever said.
So I'm going in with an open mind. The Don Callis family is like the Blob. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more imposing.
Yep.
And it's funny, Nick Maniotis joked he came back to be the fifth most important person in the Don Callis family. And I had to do the numbers, but I don't think that's wrong.
It's like, somewhere around there.
Fletcher, Takeshita, Okada, definitely in some shape or form, the top three.
Yep.
And then you could argue Hechiseto or Josh Alexander. At the very least, Alexander, who's there weekly. And now you're getting Andrade at the number 5 spot. Cushioned only by fucking Lance Archer and Rocky Romero.
And wherever the hell Trent is. And another member we'll bring up later. But yeah, I don't know where he fits in the Don Callis family just yet. Obviously, we just saw it tonight that he's joined. But I do think that, one, he might end up really being fourth between those first three guys you mentioned. And two,
especially one of those guys is leaving.
Yeah. And two, his best work, I think, since I've been watching him, was with Zelina Vega. He works best when he has a manager who can really, really talk. So I'm hoping him joining with Don is really good for him. And I don't think he will. Well, considering Fletcher has the TNT championship, it's going to be hard for him. But I'd say his ceiling is unified championship, and I wouldn't be surprised maybe like him and Hexaceta or him and Clone or the three of them together maybe go after the trios titles or tag titles or something.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I just think it's nuts though. Last thing I'll say. It's just nuts that they won't put him with Roosh in LFI.
So he was there, and originally they were together, and then they
so
moved him
briefly,
away.
so briefly, and even before Andrade left, they stopped.
Yep. I don't know. I don't remember what happened if Andrade got hurt, or maybe it was when he got suspended. Whatever it was, it's weird. Yeah. And now, funny enough, Sammy's there.
Yeah, that ain't happening now.
Yeah, definitely not. All right, there are a lot of comments. So I'll
Tyler's two initial comments we will come back to.
Yeah, so don't panic, Tyler. We'll get there. We'll just briefly say hi to You Know It. What's good, dude? That's good pronunciation of potato. Maria,
is that what that was?
Yep. Maria agreeing with you on Andrade. She also has issues with him. She's not happy he's back. He tried to get himself fired. The only reason he's back is because he was released from the other company, and she called him a grifter. And his attitude is a problem.
Yep.
Tyler disagrees, says it's a great decision from AEW and Tony Khan putting Andrade with Don Callis and the family because he only acknowledged 5 members of the group with Wardlow getting injured. Since somebody made the Black Mass joke, I think it was you.
No, it was
Matt. Yep. Yeah. AEW and DC do have the crossover right now. Tyler also coming back. Andrade is the perfect replacement for Wardlow. Plus, Don can talk for Andrade the same way Zelina did. Got everyone on the same page there. Yep. All he has to do is use his charisma and incredible in-ring skill to get over, and hopefully he can make it to the top. You know, it's saying this can only mean one thing. Scarlett is going to be over with All Elite.
Damn.
Where is Trent? That's a good question.
Don't know.
I guess he's hurt again, unfortunately.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bummer. And somebody else asked, where's Wardlow?
Yeah, that was Tyler, but he figured out that Wardlow is unfortunately hurt. You know what? Asking, there's also maybe a chant that Britt returns.
If she didn't return in Pittsburgh last week, I don't think she's coming back at all.
Maybe Jacksonville next week.
I guess, just because of how important she was during that era. But the one thing I will say, and props to Tony Khan. It goes back and forth a little bit, but it speaks to what he's willing to do and who he's willing to work with. They had a lovely 6-year hype package for Dynamite.
Yeah, I was about to get to that next.
Yeah. We'll talk about it, but there were faces in that hype package that you would not expect to see being highlighted by AEW.
Yep.
And Britt Baker was one of them. So, granted, we saw other names that we know for a fact. We saw other faces that we know for a fact we'll never see again in AEW. So Britt being there doesn't necessarily mean anything. But because I've been paying attention for the last few days, AEW's social media page, like either their Twitter or their Instagram, put up a video of Britt from the Lights Out match with Thunder Rosa. So I'm trying not to be a conspiracy theorist, but there is just a lot of Britt right now being highlighted and looked on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she makes her way back. Who knows? But
she does not need to be a wrestler. She does not ever need to wrestle again.
She doesn't want to. She doesn't have to. But if she wants to, why not?
She's got her practice. She is a shoot dentist, guys. So if she never wants to wrestle again, she does not have to. She is secure.
Yeah, but when you have the new AEW Women's Tag Team division coming up, maybe that'd be a better role for her. Just also considering her previous injury history.
Yeah,
fewer bumps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler did ask a question earlier that we wanted to double back on. Not even ask a question. He just stated that he was worried about the Warner Brother Discovery TV deals with AEW. Now, there was a bit of news, James, where I believe I saw that AEW was able to secure the rights to have their streaming on other platforms, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't comment on that. I'd have to read up a little bit more. But just to give everyone a little bit of clarity based off what Tyler's talking about, there are a lot of rumors in the entertainment world right now that Warner Brothers might be bought out by somebody else, and that there are several suitors that are looking to purchase Warner Brothers. Again. Now, if this does happen, the impact on AEW could vary depending on what happens, who does it. Depending on who buys Warner Brothers, if they don't value professional wrestling, if they don't see professional wrestling being something worth having on their docket, that could be a problem.
A la the Time Warner AOL merger in the late 90s.
That killed WCW. You could have someone come in and buy the company, buy Warner Brothers, and check the books, whether AEW is profitable for them. And by all accounts, they seem to be. AEW does seem to be something that does well for Warner Brothers on air and via streaming. So maybe they'll want to continue. The bottom line is, at this point, we don't know anything. What we do know, though, that's something that I know to go off of details that you might have heard too. What AEW will be allowed to shop themselves to other networks to air Dynamite and Collision on a weekly basis if this deal goes through and things don't look good.
Okay, that must be what I read.
Yeah, they're not going to be forced to wait until their deal is over to then try and find a new partnership. They will be allowed to shop themselves if they feel they need to. All of this is very early on. All of this is too soon to tell on so many different fronts. But it's something to keep our eye on. It's something to see how things can progress. Nobody should be worried yet, but it is something that could have grand ramifications depending on where all the pieces fall.
Yeah, I can see and Fernando in the chat bringing up Disney and Netflix. I believe the main name that's being thrown around is Paramount, if I'm not mistaken.
Paramount was the first one. Then the report was that Netflix was looking to make an offer as well.
Ooh, okay.
So, but granted, who the hell knows?
Yeah, and personally, I hope none of that goes through, and maybe the government actually does something right and steps in, because monopolies are bad. But
I think we can all agree David Zaslav can sit on it and spin.
To get things back to wrestling with one more thing here, Tyler bringing up maybe Andrade signs a dual AEW CMLL deal like Hechicero and go to Mexico too. And I actually think that's a possibility, depending on the type of push he was told he would get here in AEW. So,
and just something to first of all, great point there, Tyler. I actually thought he was just going to straight up go to CMLL. I had no concept of him coming to AEW. And one of the big points of contention, apparently, because people comb through this stuff with a fine tooth comb. Is that it?
Too many combs, baby. But yeah.
He looked miserable when WWE announced that they had bought AAA. And for those of you who don't know, CMLL and AAA have a pretty intense rivalry down in Mexico that has had ramifications on the rest of the wrestling world and what people are allowed to do on certain shows. So, and he never appeared in any of the AAA stuff. He refused, supposedly. So I think CMLL probably played a big part in this. His loyalty to CMLL probably played a big part in what happened with WWE. And we'll see what goes on there. I think Hechicero is the goal right now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he pops up in New Japan. I don't know how much they know or remember or like him over there, but I think I'd be interested to see, from his La Sombra days, but I would be interested to see him have a few matches over there as well.
Yeah.
Marina putting out something into the world, though, that I never thought I wanted to see. AEW on Access Television. Why would you do that to us?
I spent years watching TNA, not being able to watch it on television because I didn't know how.
I had access, funny enough, and I just never watched it. It's a weird channel.
It is. That it is.
Let's get things back on the track here. And we bring up that aforementioned anniversary video package. Some names, James, that I was happy to see. We had Brody Lee in there, which I thought was great. I wish they had a little bit more of him. But they threw Brody Jr. in as well, which is funny. Surprising, the big note for me was they showed CM Punk.
That was nuts.
They didn't show Cody Rhodes.
See, I thought they did very, very, very briefly.
Yeah, maybe I missed him.
Like, I thought I saw him in an action shot. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe,
but the Punk thing was a zoom up of him with the face paint on when he was teaming with Sting and Darby.
Yeah, that was nuts.
So that was a little surprising. But, I mean, you know what? Respect to them for doing it. I wish they had put like a little more Cody just because of the history of Cody Rhodes in AEW. I
don't know. Cody's been talking a lot of shit lately.
Yeah, but maybe him holding the TNT championship or just, you know, the shot of like all the elite together, something like that.
The one time it happened on AEW TV.
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't get it, and I think that sucks at least a little bit.
No, it does. I agree. I've more or less gotten over Cody leaving because it was the necessary move for Cody's career. The Punk stuff, I don't think I'll literally ever be able to get over.
Yeah.
But again, I spade is spade. Cody's been talking a lot of crap. He has been a negative Nancy when it comes to AEW for a little while now. So I kind of get maybe if there's some sour grapes there. But yeah, seeing Punk was nuts. Britt Baker highlighted as much as she was nuts. You've come a long way in AEW.
Yeah. I was surprised there was as much stuff as there was in like the last 2 weeks in this video package. I was like, holy shit.
Easier. It's probably just on hand and easier for them to edit into. I was surprised I didn't see Matt Hardy.
Oh, good point.
He played a huge role and there really wasn't any. I mean, there was, but not as much as I would have expected of Jericho.
Yeah.
He was there. They had a lot of stuff for him, just not as much as I thought there would be.
I'm not entirely sure if we caught the best friends in there either.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Which is...
I was just over the moon that Nyla Rose made it in.
Yeah. I understand there's only so much space, but it would be nice. And Maria agreeing with, you know, Cody's been a little petty, but it is what it is. We still don't know what really happened with all of that. And everyone's tried to be nice about it, but...
Brandy.
You know it's saying it should have been a shot of the fan throwing the belt back in the ring.
Oh my
the
god.
weight belt.
That would have been amazing.
What was that the MJF match or the Dustin match? I want to say it was
definitely
the MJF.
Wasn't Dustin. It was a tag match, I thought.
I thought they started. I know they did it in the MJF match then. I'm pretty sure they did it there.
Maybe. Tyler saying he doesn't. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Fernando was just bringing up for more with Cody stuff. Everyone knows Cody used to be there. He didn't need to be in the video, but I'm going to disagree, even if it was just a shot. And as you mentioned, James Tyler just saying he doesn't like AAA, and that's fair. It's a very stylized version of Lucha, and if you don't like Lucha to begin with, liking AAA can get even a little more difficult. Even though part of the fun is just how chaotic and occasionally bad it is. After this, we came back from commercial with a backstage promo from Mark Briscoe. Mark mentions the 6-year anniversary of AEW, saying that because of that, they can reflect not only as a company, but personally to, you know, each one of themselves. And he says for the past 6 months, his life has been consumed with 3 letters, MJF. And after their match, he proved that Max is all talk, taking his pound of flesh for Max bringing up his brother's name. MJF also said that Mark couldn't win the big one, and Mark proved him wrong there as well when he was able to beat him in their TNT match. And if when winning the big one, Max was talking about winning a title, then it's MJF's fault that he didn't get his shot at the TNT Championship. So it's MJF's fault that he couldn't prove himself in that regard. His man Hologram was also supposed to get a shot at that TNT Championship tonight, but then Kyle Fletcher took him out. So instead, it will be his friend Orange Cassidy who gets that opportunity. And when Orange wins tonight, he's going to go out there and celebrate with his friend, as opposed to MJF, who's going to be sitting on his couch, sulking, and continuing to pick tacks out of his ass.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary. That led to that match, which saw Kyle Fletcher defend his TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy. And real quick, James, during his return last week, we didn't bring up Orange's new Tron, I don't think.
Oh, it's great.
It's just being I believe it's like the red screen of death from Adobe with the Adobe wipes is funny as shit.
Orange tweeted about it, saying that apparently what he sent to AEW just didn't go through.
Yeah, he's like, I sent them the right file. It's just not working. There was last week. There was one frame of the old white marker. Yeah.
We had that too for a second here.
Yeah, I think it's just but for the most part, the media has failed.
Yeah, love it.
Which is hilarious. Jumping to the end of this match, after Orange was able to headbutt Kyle off of the top turnbuckle, the referee turned his attention to Fletcher, and that allowed Don to jump up on the apron. Don was at ringside, not on commentary, and he slowly took off his shoe to go to attack Orange. However, Hologram, surprisingly, came down and got in between them, taking the shoe from Don and then kind of shoving him off of the apron. But then Hologram turned around and shoved Orange, nutting him on the top turnbuckle. He jumped off. Kyle got up, went quickly up to the top turnbuckle, and hit the turnbuckle brainbuster onto Cassidy to retain his title. After the match, Hologram got into the ring, and he was followed by Don. And Kyle began just beating the shit out of Orange until the conglomeration, led by Mark Briscoe, followed shortly after that by Kyle O'Reilly. And then way after that was Roderick Strong, who was just strolling his ass out there. They came down to run everybody off. And then Don, Hologram, and Fletcher got to the top of the ramp. And then Hologram and Fletcher waited there while Don ran to the back and gathered the rest of the family. And they all filed out so we can see their their healthy force, with Hologram revealing himself to be the clone, and he has also aligned himself with the Don Callis family. So
I'm upset that they didn't go with it for longer.
Oh, that clone was Hologram the whole time? I agree, but clone has all the tattoos on his chest, and it would have been a little difficult to pull off for a while.
They did it. All right. WWE did it with Sin Cara. One of them had a fucking arm tattoo.
I know, fair enough. We could have done it. They could have gave him a shirt or something. I agree, but I don't know how long Hologram's going to be out.
Yeah.
From all reports, it's going to be a while, and I don't think they wanted to keep sitting on Clone because they had him for a while, and they were letting him wrestle other places, and he was kind of like, "Hey guys, I'm getting offers from WWE. Are you going to do anything with me?" And they're like, "Okay, we'll bring you in." And I think they were planning on bringing him in sooner than later anyway, obviously by the teasers. And with Hologram out, they probably needed to do something with him. And putting him with the Callis family seemed like the best idea.
Yeah, probably.
But
I'm cool with it. I wish it had gone on for another week or so, but you make a very strong point that we don't know how long Hologram is going to be out, so you don't want to have him stuck in that. So it's fine, but I just thought it would have been funny. But man, I counted the Don Callis family. Don is surrounded by 9 people.
Oh, is it 9?
That were on that stage with Don. It's 9.
Yeah, and you're not counting Wardlow or Trent.
Yeah. Or Mark Andrews. No, what's his name? Mark
Andrews is the tight end.
No, he's also Mandrews. He's a wrestler too.
Right, yeah.
No, but Mark Fletcher's partner.
Yeah, I know. I'm blanking on it too.
So
Davis.
Mark Davis. So that's 3 guys that are just not there right now.
So I was right. 12.
Yeah, 12. So that group is fucking scary.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a combination of like strength and numbers, but they are really stacked. Like there is not a bad wrestler in that lineup. As for the match, though, James,
Brian Cage, 13.
Oh, Cage, that's great. Well, Don tweeted out that they were in the process of replacing him, so I don't know if he'll come back or not. Because it is in the history of Don Callis' family, if you get hurt, there's a good chance he'll just replace you.
Yeah.
So. But James, for the match, as I was saying, it rocked.
Yeah,
I thought this was a great matchup. Just their styles integrated so well together. But this was basically like counters the movie. Like everything was a counter or a counter to a counter or a counter to a counter to a counter. Like it was a pure clinic on just counter wrestling. And I know that's really Orange's thing, but Kyle is also great at doing it too. And the way they were able to string them all together made for a phenomenal matchup.
We were briefly talking about it in the group chat before we went live. I understand when some people just don't like certain wrestlers because not every style appeals to everybody. And I get that. I don't understand how in 2025 people can end up not liking Orange Cassidy. He is so good at everything he does. There is so much thought put into his matches. There is so much thought put into the psychology of the storytelling. It's insane. And Fletcher, we keep talking about it every week till we're blue in the face. This kid just gets it, and he's just getting better and better every week. So this match had so much room to disappoint because of how high the expectations were, and they still put on a absolutely incredible matchup. Like, I'm almost upset about the finish just because you end up talking about that more than the match itself.
Yeah.
So, great matchup between these two guys. Orange's streak of winning championships in the fall seems to have ended, but good showing. I would love to see them run it back, and I want to see where Orange goes from here.
Yeah, he obviously wasn't supposed to be in this spot. Yeah. He was supposed to be hologram. But on very short notice, I thought he came in and did great. And that's why I wanted to, bring it back around and talk about the match, because everyone, I think, is going to talk so much about the ending, which is going to take away from, as I mentioned, it just counter wrestling clinic. Yep. It was so much fun to watch. Maria, very surprising to me, does not like Orange.
Wow.
He annoys her. Never understood the gimmick, and you're entitled to your opinion, Maria. I love Orange Cassidy, and I will defend him to the death of me. But if that's your opinion, then you know what, you're allowed to have it. But I don't understand.
He's Randy Orton, the character, incredibly talented, but also very lazy and doesn't want to have to do anything. But when he does, he's incredible.
Yeah. I feel like if you haven't watched since day one and you're kind of just like, and you only got in like maybe 3 or 4 years into AEW and you didn't see the original Orange Cassidy where he literally did nothing. Yeah. And then go through that all the way through his All Atlantic / international title run. He's the probably second best character AEW has had behind Hangman from the jump in terms of like storytelling and building on that character and getting to where they are now.
I mean, maybe you could also argue MJF to an extent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that's
but
fair.
Orange is up there. If not number 2, he's up there.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to be. His arc has just been great. From a guy who just literally didn't want to do anything and didn't want to try to
defending the company.
Yeah, and finding a reason to try in defending the international title when it was. I saw somebody describe this on Reddit. It was almost like he was just too lazy to ever deny anybody a title shot. He just kept taking them, and then he just kept doing winning. And it was like, no, I want to keep doing this. Like I want to defend. He's like, and he just took on all comers, and he lost it. And he's like, I need that back.
Yep.
And had a purpose in life, and it's just that arc is amazing. And now I'm so curious to see where he goes down his back. And obviously, he lost this match, but it is what it is. Tyler saying they should do an OG Don family versus team Don family now. So it was Kenny, Osprey, Powerhouse, Hobbs, anybody who got kicked out versus anybody who's still in.
I could not tell you who was in the OG group.
The original, it
had to be Kenny.
Well, I mean, if you kind of think about it, you go all the way back to, it was the super elite when it was Kenny, the Bucks, the Good Brothers, back then, the 69 Me Don era.
I guess what I'd imagine, the OG Don Callis family would be post Kenny split.
Yeah, kind of around there.
So Osprey.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Will, Fletcher, Davis. I'm trying to think of who else has been in and out of it. Yeah, there's been so many people who have filtered through. It's wild. Yeah, Maria can bring up a good point. At times, Toni Storm is one of, if not the best character in AEW, and I'm not going to disagree. I was just talking about from day one of AEW, and Toni unfortunately wasn't there, but since she's joined.
And even beyond that, as entertaining a character as she is, as powerful of a character as she is, she didn't really have that much of an arc. We saw her lose her mind and become timeless. And that was amazing to watch. That was hilarious to watch. But her character growth is very separate, in my opinion. I'd say her best character arc had to do with Mariah May.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
And that was fantastic. But overall, a character just evolving and becoming so much bigger and better than what they were before, I'd give it to Darby. I'd give it to Orange. I'd give it to Hangman at number 1. Timeless is just great, period.
Yeah. And we'll talk about her a bit later, but the fact now that she's lost the title, I'm curious to see where her arc goes from here. And we could probably continue to get great stories out of her don't just involve her being crazy and defending the title.
I am worried.
I guess we'll talk about that later, but let's keep things rolling. Next up, we had a backstage interview with Mercedes Moné. Renee congratulated her on first defending her TBS championship against Rio at the pay-per-view and getting closer to becoming the longest reigning TBS champion of all time. But she brings up the fact that the record Moné wants is the 10 belts, and she still only has 9. Mercedes says that is spot on, and she's looking for another title. But in the meantime, she's going to defend the TBS championship next week in Daly's place, making some history by going against someone from Florida. And obviously, she's never actually wrestled in Daly's place, so it's pretty cool. Renee then brings up the new women's tag titles, and Mercedes says everyone knows how much she loves tag team wrestling and that she would love to add that belt to her collection. The only question is who is going to be her partner. And who else enters but Mini Moné, much to the frustration of Mercedes. And Mercedes brings up the fact that Harley has been tagging with everyone. And also, wasn't she wearing a cat face last week? Harley points out that obviously she's not going to wear the cat face and be Mini Moné at the same time. That's just
too much
overkill.
Yeah.
Besides, she's friends with pretty much everyone, but she thinks she has the best chemistry in the ring with Mercedes. And then Mercedes and Mini Moné get in a back and forth, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, as Mercedes starts slowly falling into Australian on her nares. Eventually, until Mercedes ends it by saying they don't have any chemistry because every time they tag together, Harley loses. So that's going to be, again, a nair from Mercedes. And she storms away, leaving Mini Moné to remark that she's just playing hard to get. That led to our next match, which saw Hangman Adam Page and Opps members Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs facing off against the Death Riders in the unit of Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Daniel Garcia. So just to jump to the end of this, after everyone basically took everyone out, culminating in I think the last one was Joe got hit with not a Death Rider, but an old school paradigm shift, and then Hangman hit Moxley with a buckshot lariat, and then Paige and Claudio were left one-on-one. Claudio went for a neutralizer. Hangman countered that into a jackknife, and that forced Claudio to bridge out. However, Hangman was able to counter the bridge and got Claudio into position 4 and hit a deadeye, and then he quickly went to the apron and then hit the buckshot lariat for the win. Now, it is important to note that I believe it was the final tag. Hangman stole it from Joe. Yeah. So after the match, Hangman went over the timekeeper or the ref, whoever it was, and got all the titles. And he gave, he had his title, gave one of the trios titles to Hobbs, and attempted to give the other one to Joe. And Joe is already mad because Hangman stole the tag. And then Hangman gives him the title, and Joe drops it, or Hangman's not paying attention and he drops it, whatever it was. But Joe's super fucking pissed off. So that's not going to stand. And Joe just starts yelling at Paige. Paige's like, what the hell? And Hobbs tries to play peacemaker, but tempers continue to flare, and eventually security comes down, and then hands start to get thrown a little bit after Joe brings up the fact that Hangman has never beaten him. And then nobody really lands anything, though, and Hobbs is able to get Joe to the back before anything else happens, and Hangman's just standing there like, what the fuck? So there's a lot more with that we'll get to in a minute, James. But the match itself, it was good. It was hard-hitting. It was fine. There wasn't anything, crazy good about it except, meat chants with Hobbs. But it was entertaining. And the biggest takeaway was Daniel Garcia is wearing shorts now.
I think he has been for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm assuming since you joined the Death Riders, but I just haven't noticed.
Yeah. Match was fine. I don't want to be rude to it. There was a vast difference between the trios match that started the night and this trios match. Yeah. This was more about storytelling. I just don't have any desire to see Hangman wrestle anyone from the Death Riders anymore. I'm good. I'm past it. I'm well over it.
I laughed a little when you ended up with Mox and Hangman one-on-one, and Brian made a comment about if Mox pins him, maybe he can get the championship back. I'm pretty sure the stipulation for the last championship match is that Mox can't challenge him again. But
is that actually a thing?
I thought it was. I thought that's what they're like. Let's just put this to bed.
I don't remember.
I could swear it was the one they had on Dynamite.
Yeah, no, I know the match you're referencing. I just don't remember the stipulation. I just remember it being specifically no one was allowed to interfere, and they still did, or still tried to. But,
yeah, I thought it was so that Moxley couldn't challenge again while Hanger was the champ. I could be wrong, but
I think it was just what we're all hoping for.
Yeah. I'm going to bounce around a little bit here just so we can finish up this Hangman Joe stuff.
Smart.
So we had a promo package, which we'll get back to, and then we came back from commercial with a backstage interview with Hangman, and Renee was like, what the hell happened out there with Joe? And Paige is like, I don't think I've ever been so confused in the 6 years of Dynamite. Joe is out there throwing an absolute, and I quote, absolute bitch fit because what? I accidentally dropped the title when handing it to him. But then Hangman says that Joe dropped the real reason he was mad. It's that Hangman has the AEW World Championship that Joe once held, which is why Joe brought up the fact that Paige has never beaten him. And Hangman says that part of the reason he holds the title right now is because of what Joe and the Opps did. So if Joe wants a title match, Hangman will give it to him. He'll even give Joe a few weeks to prepare, and he challenges him to a title match at Wrestle Dream. But then after Hangman says that he respects and looks up to Joe, he tells him if he ever throws a fit like that at him again, Hangman will ruin his life.
No pressure.
Which is a bar. And we all know Hanger can do that. A little bit later in the episode, I forgot to write the bottom line. I'll handle that in a second. We came back from commercial with a interview with Joe and Hobbs. And Renee asked Joe about the challenge. And Joe says it's no surprise that he made it. He says everyone thinks everything is a misunderstanding since they're allies and they're supposed to be friends. But maybe he's been so preoccupied with the Death Riders that has become the most misunderstood thing in the world as he has taken his eyes off the prize. There we go. He is Samoa Joe, and even at his best day, Hangman has never beaten him. So while the things between the two of them, it's still cowboy shit, and it's still kind of cool. When they step into that ring, allow Joe to welcome him into a world of deep shit.
I gotta correct you.
I kind of missed the ending there.
He didn't say even on his best day, Hangman has never beaten Joe. He said even on his best day, he has never been greater than Joe.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a baller line. Just absolute. Both promos were great. Hangman speaking for the audience, speaking for all reasonably minded people that this was nonsense. I'm fine that the match is happening, and I think it's a little silly how quickly it's happening, but whatever. I don't want to see the Opps turn heel.
Same.
There are just too many heels right now. There are too many heel groups right now in Power. So I really don't want them to turn heel. I hope Joe shakes Hangman's hand at the end of the match.
I think that's what happens, by the way, when this is done.
I hope we'll see, most likely, but it's still a worry. And I will say this is pretty consistent for Joe's character. I think this is the longest he's been a babyface. So I think it was just bound to happen where Joe's own desire for greatness, his own desire for success got in the way. But we'll see what the follow-up is.
Yeah. Random timing, I think, was my biggest thing, because it's like, all right, what you're doing this now? It's just Joe's outburst. It's like now, that's when you're doing it. But like you said, I think it's a little consistent for his character that he wants to be the best and he wants the top prize in the company and so on and so forth. But I think my biggest takeaway here, especially because after Joe's promo, though, they did make the title match official for Wrestle Dream. Yeah. While I'm very excited for this match, we are lacking bigger stories for Hangman and the title at the moment.
Yeah.
And this is something we discussed the other week, where that's something that happened in his original title reign that we would like to avoid.
I agree still, but I stand by the fact that he is more capable of surviving this because he himself is so much more of a confident champion now than he was in his initial run. In his initial run, the reign felt unimportant because of the reasons you mentioned, that there hasn't been a significant story, but also because he couldn't elevate any of it. Here, he is enthralling no matter what he's doing. So you're not wrong, but I'm less worried.
I think the thing right now is, and it's similar to what happened in his first title reign as well. Both of his title wins were the culmination of years of storytelling.
Yeah.
And it also just happened to be the culmination of years of storytelling for a lot of the title matches at All In general. But after both of them, we looked up and down the card at every champ and kind of went, all right, well, what's next for them?
Yeah.
And we didn't really have an answer for any of them.
Yeah.
Now, you already got the answer for Toni Storm. It only took another pay-per-view or two, but we got there. But with Hangman, it's not even what's next for them. It's, okay, we all kind of knew who the next champ's going to be. We don't know who the next big men's challenger is. Some people we thought could be are hurt. Some of them are just not in a position to go for the main title right now, and so on and so forth. So who knows who the next champ is going to be and when that's going to be? So there might be some quote unquote filler feuds just to get Hangman along to where whatever Tony is trying to, simmer in the background, he can kind of get us there eventually.
Yeah.
So I just hope, even if it's one he wins, I would like to see a multi-pay-per-view feud with Hangman, and I'd actually prefer him to win that, defend the title twice. And I know that's not great against, for whoever loses, 2 title matches, but I think it would be cool to see him get an extended feud that he wins before this title reign eventually ends. Just again to give it some.
No, I don't disagree. I'm trying to think who that could be.
Oh yeah, you're looking through it. Eric's saying it's MJF that's probably going to win the title next. Yeah, I guess he does have the contract, but I mean, I don't know. He's also, if I'm not mistaken, off filming at the moment.
Yeah, and he can't just cash in anymore. Like there's a week notice.
Yeah. So
it should have been Hangman versus Mark.
Briscoe. I would like to see it, the match. It would be cool if Hangman, out of respect, gave Briscoe a title shot.
I'm going all in on Jay White.
Yes, depending on his health.
He's apparently close to coming back.
Cool. Now, do you think he wins the title?
I would like for him to. I don't think he will. And it goes into your point of Hangman maybe getting like 2 wins back to back.
Yeah.
Jay White has 2 wins back to back. So it would even the odds. It would even the score.
Yeah, I think is it 4-1 or 5-1 White at the moment overall? Because they include the New Japan matches too. I think it's 5-1.
I think it's 5-1.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the match at Wrestle Dream. It's going to be very good, but the Hangman title reign, I'm enjoying it for the reasons you said. He's been able to elevate and carry this right now, but I would like to see some bigger, I won't say more important, but some feuds with a little more gravitas. So.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check in on the comments really quick because Maria was mentioning something, and I thought it was a good point where she says, we were talking about the women's tag titles. She says that the women's champions should not be allowed in the tournament. And I think I agree with that. I think it would be, maybe Mercedes, but I would imagine Statlander stays away from it.
Yeah. I wouldn't make it a hard rule. Like, I wouldn't make it the women's champion cannot be in the tournament, but I would just not have them in it.
Yeah.
But that said, I want to see Mercedes and Harley teaming up.
Harley's going to be weird. She's going to ask everyone. The team's going to ask Willow. She's going to ask Mercedes. She's going to ask Anna Jay probably again. And Anna's going to be like, well, Ty's back. There's going to be so many people she asks, and then she's probably either going to end up going back to Mercedes because everyone rejects her, or she's not in it. But I think Harley will probably be in it. Although I'm also thinking now too, there's a great storyline there where it's Harley and Mercedes, and Harley keeps winning all of the matches, and they make the finals.
It'd be incredible.
Yeah,
it'd be incredible.
Tyler saying, I hope Hangman Page is carrying AEW without Swerve and Will. And he is. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the timing worked out so well for him winning the title, because he is a guy that can be the leader of this company with Swerve out, with Will out, with Kenny kind of part-time. Like, he's the man right now, and it's working out great. All right, just to double back, we had a couple of promo packages, or I guess we just had one. It was Jet Speed and Willow Nightingale with FTR and Big Stoke. Jet Speed and Willow were going over the matchups between them and FTR, and they were like, we got the advantage, whatever way you look at it. So Knight challenges an FTR member to a match. Stoke then says how much he hates Willow, and then agrees to Knight's challenge, but Knight won't know which member of FTR he's facing until they walk through the curtain on Collision.
Fun.
After that, we went to commercial, came back with Hangman, then went to our next match, which saw a timeless Toni Storm against Ty Mello. Toni came out very somber, almost timid is the word I wrote, with Brian saying she looked confused without her title. To jump to the end of the match, after Toni got Ty in the corner, Storm went in for the hip attack, but Ty was able to avoid it and followed that up with a pump kick. Mello then went for the Ty KO, but Toni caught the knee and hit Ty with a German suplex, sending her back into another corner. Toni then hit the hip attack and quickly followed that up with a Storm Zero for the win. After the match, Toni quickly grabs a mic and says that All Out, when the bell rang, she didn't hear victory or defeat. She heard nothing, a silence so deep that it gobbled her up. She then stared at her, the champion, everything she was not. And when Toni got to the back, the question started. What was she without the title? So then Toni then calls out Kris Statlander, saying she is not done with her and that she needs to know one-on-one. So she will meet Statlander anytime, any place, and she will prove that she will always be. And then she dropped the mic and the lights came down.
Dimmed very, very powerfully.
So they did not say timeless. But James, the match was, again, solid match. It was nice to see Ty Mello. You know, I think she's an AEW OG.
She's like a day 2.
Okay. Yeah, but it was cool to see her back. I like the little promo they gave her, the picture-in-picture promo they gave her before the match.
Yeah.
Always good to see Anna as well. So she's pandemic era. So I guess, yeah, that's probably around
day 1.5.
Yeah. No, if I remember correctly, Anna's first match was in the Nightmare Factory episode, one of the Nightmare Factory.
She really debuted as like part of the Dark Order. Like she wrestled before that.
Yeah,
she wrestled before that. But like the grand unveiling was the Dark Order, her choking out Brandy.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm talking her first match was in the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah,
pretty sure. Hey, Dev.
What's up, Dev?
Good to see you, man. But yeah, the match was good. I enjoyed it. But the follow up to Toni here is what we're all going to be talking about between this and the end of the episode. Just because, as we mentioned before, we are now seeing a Toni Storm who doesn't have the title and is, I think, not going to win back the title as opposed to when she was feuding with Mariah. So
I would be furious if she won the title back.
Yeah. So this is going to kick off what I think is going to be a very fun and interesting character arc for One Timeless Toni Storm.
Happy birthday to you.
Feliz cumpleaños, Dev.
Wait, could we get copyrighted if I keep singing?
No, I believe that's now officially in the public domain, but...
Happy birthday, dear Dev. Happy birthday to you.
I also think I cut it off enough where we'll be okay. But yes, James, your thoughts on Toni Storm as she heads into this new chapter of her arc?
See, this was all fine. This was, as almost grim as it was still typical Toni fare. I was far more intrigued by what came later in the night and how she behaved later. That was shocking to me. So, all right, there is one aspect actually that I really do want to talk about. And that's the fans who, quite frankly, can go fuck themselves.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to write that down.
The fans that were doing the what chant at Toni.
First of all, if you're still doing the what chant,
it's 2025. Shut the fuck up. Move on. Everyone else has.
See what you did, Florida? You got James mad.
You fucking dorks. Beyond that, beyond the audacity to even just say those letters, to say that word. 4 letters, 1 word. What?
Whoops.
Don't do it at Toni.
Yeah, right? Of all the people.
Like, she also started to feed into it when she heard it. Like, she absolutely altered her cadence to go even slower to do the what, to go with the what's.
It was funny. I thought she picked it up at first and to throw them off, and then she was just like, nah, like, I'm going to go into it.
And I think that played into what we saw later in the night. I weirdly think it's possible we're going to see Toni turn heel.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It might be needed. Granted, I think if Toni really wanted to keep this going as a babyface for however long she could, and I think the fans would eat it up. But I think the new gear, because this is new gear.
Yep.
The new gear, the somber attitude, so much of what we're seeing, I think we're leading towards a heel turn. And might be for the best. Maybe.
I'm trying to think of like old Hollywood movies where they can maybe go with that. But I can definitely see her becoming, it's weird. I want to say more vicious, but she's always been quite violent, this version of Toni Storm. So it doesn't even have to be that, but
vicious and violent are two different things, though.
True.
Violent is I'm willing, like, we're going to fight, and I'm not afraid to fight. Vicious is often malicious. So, yeah.
But I mean, like Hangman can be vicious even when he's a face. Like, it's just, in those like no DQ matches, what I was really talking about. But I could see her definitely being more malicious. I guess I'm more curious to see how it comes out in her character and not just her wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think a heel turn could be fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure RJ's got some old movie. He's like, oh, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be great.
Let's be real. The character started out as a heel.
Yep.
So it's not even unheard of, but we'll find out. We'll see.
Because this is definitely the most like broken we've seen Toni since the original start of the Timeless arc. So
maybe Mariah.
Oh yeah, I guess once when Mariah betrayed her. Good point.
She had a little bit of a breakdown there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Or, she was playing.
The world may never know.
What makes you think that
she may never know.
Good point. All right. Following this up, we had another promo package. This time was for Eddie Kingston versus Jurassico on Friday. The two have a match on Collision, as I mentioned. Saturday, not on Friday. With Sammy Guevara being the one to call out Eddie on Jurassico's behalf, and then Eddie being like, "You best watch me talk for you, because now you're going to get your ass kicked because Sammy talks shit."
Yeah.
That's a good point. We then had the Samoa Joe Powerhouse Hobbs interview we talked about. And then we headed into GOA versus The Swirl, which is Lee Johnson and Blake Christian.
No.
I don't know what that name is. Are you going no on the name?
Wait, no, you don't know what The Swirl is?
No, I don't know why they called them that. I kind of missed it.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
I didn't know it was an ice cream thing. You could have just said ice cream.
I didn't come up with it.
Whatever. I actually like it. I mean...
No, I have no problem with the name.
Oh.
This match was stupid.
Okay. Let me just run through it really, really fast because it was fairly quick. It was Ricochet was on commentary, and then it looked kind of like right when the Swirl was about to have an advantage, GOA took them out with Leona completely running over Christian on the outside. While Khan took out Johnson in the ring with running knees in the corner. Leona then followed that up with a hip attack before GOA spiked Johnson for the win. And then after the match, Ricochet rolled Christian back to the ring and had GOA hold him up so that he can hit a spirit gun. Now, we'll talk about what happened after that. But here's my thing. Because the number one thing I thought when I saw this matchup, I went, this is the match they should have had last week to build upon their win against the Hurt Syndicate instead of, as you were talking about, losing a tag title match, which was still a good thing that they got the tag title match. But again, they lost and didn't get to build on that momentum.
Yeah.
Having GOA go out there and just beat the shit out of these guys or anybody last week would have been smart. Now, I thought the Swirl did a good job. They got their shots in, and I like these kids a lot, so I'm happy they didn't get completely jobbed out.
I'm glad they're on TV as much as they have been lately. Blake and Lee have been doing their best.
Yeah, I think they've been doing really good work, which is why, again, I'm glad they didn't get completely destroyed. But this seems like it should have been last week in like an actual normal timeline.
Even beyond that, these are two heel teams. I don't typically mind heel versus heel or babyface versus babyface. But you're having monster heels in Toa and Bishop. Monster heels essentially demolish the much smaller heel team. You couldn't have thrown a babyface team in there because this wasn't two heels that were going at it, which is so integral oftentimes to getting heel matchups to work. Like, this was just, we're the bigger heels and we're going to pick our teeth with you. And You don't do that to another heel team, especially when you have that other heel team be on TV as much as the Swirl is to put over other teams. I feel like they cut the legs out from under these kids. And granted, they'll be fine. They will be fine because they are super talented and GOA are as monstrous as they are. It should not have been that. How do you have these smarmy heels, which is what we've seen the Swirl be for weeks and weeks now, try to build up the comeback, build up the momentum? Nobody cared. People were watching, like, nobody got it. Like, I'm not saying people didn't enjoy the match. I'm not saying people weren't invested in the match, but you didn't have the crowd going like, yeah, they could bring it. They could get the upset. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody's rooting for that.
I mean, definitely the cool down match before the main event, but I would think the one reason why this does make sense is, if I remember correctly, when Ricochet was looking for guys to back him up, the Swirl's names were thrown in the ring, and then he actually rejected them on TV.
Oh, well.
So them trying to get a shot here at GOA does kind of make sense kayfabe-wise. I just think the timing of the match was weird when probably should have been last week.
I also thank you for the history of it, because I didn't remember that, or I didn't see that. I still think from a logistic standpoint, I don't know how this benefits pretty much anybody here. GOA gets a much needed win for sure, but I think you could have slotted in a lot of other teams that would have been better off doing the honors, doing the job. But whatever. I'm not the booker. What do I know?
Yeah, I think you got a good point there. It was a little weird. Like, at least it makes sense a little bit, but you do have a point. More importantly, though, following Ricochet hitting Blake Christian with the Spirit Gun, the music for the Hurt Syndicate hits, and they come out onto the stage with MVP holding a microphone. And after he shouts out some South Florida area codes, because I believe he's from down there, MVP admits that he embarrassed himself at All Out and apologizes not only to the Hurt Syndicate fans, but his business partners for allowing Ricochet, which he called a bunch of names, and his backup dancers to beat him and not have them actually win by beating either Bobby Lashley or my man Shelton Benjamin. So MVP says that he maybe has to come to terms with the fact that he's either lost a step or he's not the wrestler like he used to be. But there is one thing he knows he can still do better than Ricochet and GOA, and that is fight. And he challenges the demand to a street fight next week in Jacksonville, telling Ricochet is a yes or no answer before tossing the mic at him, which Ricochet rated a real nice catch.
Yep.
Like a Roman Reigns level mic catch.
It is not the same, but it was good. It was not
close.
as good, but it was good.
No, Roman always has really good hands catching the mic because he used to play football. So he catches more than people remember. There's just that one that ever stands out in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't on that level, but it was a Roman Reigns-esque catch.
Fair enough. Fine.
To finish it though, and Ricochet tells MVP that if that's what he wants, he'll be happy to give him an ass whipping next week. And then Excalibur mentioned it's going to be in the parking lot again. So this might be like one of those best friends, like with the cars and shit, street fights.
I'm in.
Which, yeah, I would love. Those street fights are great, and I miss those from the old days. So I'm glad to get one back. After that, we went to a backstage interview with Kris Statlander before her match, teaming with Darby Allin against Real Yuta and Marina Shafir. Renee asks about Toni's challenge, and Kris says that in 6 years of AEW, they somehow have never fought one-on-one. So Stat will give Toni her match at Wrestle Dream, but for now, her and Darby have to go take care of business. Harley then pops in, because I guess he's just following Renee around, still holding Mini Monet, screaming that it's time for Stat to go in and rip some heads off. And Stat's like, what's in your hand? And Harley's like, nothing, and puts it behind her back. And then she leaves as quickly as she came in, singing Statlander's name. And Statlander! Like, confused as all hell. We then went to commercial, and actually, we didn't even go to commercial. We went to the desk and then came back to a different interview, this time with Alicia Attell, interviewing that carny piece of shit Don Callis, along with Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. And Alicia asked about the big night for the family, with them adding 2 more members and Kyle defending his title. And Don says that he didn't just add 2 more members, he added El Clone and the legendary Andrade, making the talent of the family unmatched. He then says, though, that he laments the fact that Brodido escaped earlier tonight. So he throws out a challenge for next week, saying that they will be facing off against Okada and Takeshita. And Takeshita's like, Don, me and him? And Okada turns and he was like, yes, you and me. And then the 2 of them start to get in each other's faces and stare each other down. And John like literally jumps in between them. And it's like, Brodido, you're going to get in a lot of trouble next week. You have what's coming to you, da-da-da-da-da. So it's going to be interesting watching Okada and Takeshita team up with each other next week.
It's even better. It's even better watching Don be like the personification of that. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine meme. Like the
Bullet
dog
Club is fine.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how that goes, because I don't think the tag champs are losing.
I don't think so either. It makes more sense for the Don Callis family to have issues. But then, like, if they specify this is a title eliminator, and that gets them, I could see the Don Callis family winning the eliminator, but then losing the title match.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, even if they don't specify eliminator, like, you could justify, oh, they just pin the tag champs, they get a title match at Wrestle Dream, and do it that way, and then whatever happens between Okada and Takeshita happens at Wrestle Dream, like whether it's one of them leaves the other one on the apron, or hits the other one with their finisher, whatever it may be. I can see that happening there, because I don't want to see you're burning it on a Dynamite. It is a big one. It is in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But that does seem like it would be better as a pay-per-view moment.
Yeah.
Right. And that leads us into our main event, which saw Darby Allin and Kris Statlander face off against Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir in a mixed tornado tag team match. Darby immediately attempted to kill himself as he Tope suicided through himself through a fucking chair.
Yep.
Right before we went to commercial. And so he was out pretty much till we got back from commercial. And then even a bit after that, because he then got German suplex onto a stack of chairs by Wheeler. Following that, we had Statlander suplexing Marina off the barricade, through the table in the timekeeper's area. And then God bless Marina for still going after this. Pretty sure as the table broke, she hit the chair for the timekeeper. So, like, the table broke, she fell through the table and then fell through the chair, which, ow.
Yeah, that I don't know if she landed on her arm or her shoulder blade or the side of her back, but it did not land flush, and that was rough.
Yeah, she didn't land clean on the floor, and you heard a blood-curdling scream.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back in the ring, Yuta had gotten enough from Darby. I think it was Darby had stuck Wheeler's arm through the ring post, which, okay, didn't know there were holes at the top. And also, they were round this week.
Yeah.
6 years AEW Dynamite, we've had square ring posts, and all of a sudden it's round, and they don't have caps.
What are we even doing here?
Yeah, unless there was a camera there and it got knocked off. Anyway, so he had gotten out of that from Darby, and then he had a draping neck breaker on the apron, which was nasty. And then he went under the ring and pulled out a black bag, which was a bunch of thumbtacks. And that seemed fairly foolish to me at the time because Marina had no shoes on. And right on cue, Marina came into the ring, started wrestling with Statlander, and Statlander dropped her feet first onto the tacks.
It didn't feel good to watch.
No, it did not. Yuta then came back out from underneath the ring because Statlander had suplexed him into the stack of chairs, and he had gotten knocked out. And he shoulder checked Stat out of the ring before he attempted to throw a handful of powder or salt or chalk or whatever.
They really didn't do a good job of highlighting it.
Yeah, well, I think he lost a bunch of it accidentally when he shoulder checked Statlander.
Yeah.
Because I saw there was a bit of a puff of smoke beforehand because I had to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
However, Darby was able to dodge the powder and then went right into Marina's eyes in the corner. So she was blinded, and Darby did the smart thing and threw Wheeler right into her arms, and Marina immediately applied a choke onto him because she thought it was Darby. She actually got Wheeler to the ground. Statlander went up to the top, hit a 450 splash onto both of them. Marina rolled out of the ring, and then Darby went up to the top. He hit the coffin drop, and both he and Statlander pinned Yuta to get the win.
At no point did she think,
wrong hair.
Darby has more hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
These are things you don't have to worry about because wrestling isn't real. Anyway, after the match, as James was kind of alluding to earlier, Timeless Toni Storm came out and Statlander left the ring, and the two of them had a stare down on the ramp and then started smiling at each other until hockey fight, and they just start throwing right hands until security comes out and breaks it up and takes them both to the back. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Darby decided that Yuta hadn't had enough and had taken off his studded belt and started whipping the shit out of Wheeler with it until Pac came up from behind and took Darby out. He continued to beat down Darby, and then as he did so, Mox and Claudio came to the ring where Pac had wrapped the belt around Darby's neck, basically to just keep him in place.
Yep.
Moxley then grabbed the microphone and told Darby that he doesn't have what it takes to win their match in a couple of weeks, and he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but at Wrestle Dream, Mox says he's going to make Darby say, "I quit," for the first time in his life. Mox then takes off, and he leaves Pac behind to nail Darby with a nasty lariat after hitting the ropes a couple of times on the way out, and we go off the air. So, James, a bit of a short match, but I do love me a tornado tag.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure I've seen a mixed gender tornado tag, but it's been a minute. So it was a lot of fun watching them mix it up. Wheeler hit a suplex on the Statlander, which surprised me. Like, they let him hit her with an actual move that you don't see a lot. I don't know if it was it was into the mat because the Stat then hit him into the chairs. But I'm pretty sure on the Indies, Stats fight dudes all the time, so it's not that big of a deal.
At least she has before. I don't know if she still does, but she has before.
But I had a lot of fun watching it. It was violent. Darby again almost fucking killed himself a couple of times, so that's always fun. Once again, I think the post-match stuff is going to end up being what people talk about most here.
I agree, which is a shame because I do think the match was fun.
Yep.
I don't think gimmick matches inherently need to go that long.
That's fair.
You just need to hit fun spots, and you could do that in however long you need to do it. And you justify it by, this match didn't go a half hour because guess what? I went through a table, or I went on top of chairs, or I got put on thumbtacks. Yes, this match isn't going as long. So I that's how you could justify it.
Roddy's got his work cut out for him tonight, man.
Who does?
Roddy.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to be miserable. I thought the match was fun. I am very, very surprised by the Toni Storm, Kris Statlander interaction.
Yes, you've been mentioning this, so I'm very curious to hear as to why.
I mean, they just attacked each other for no reason. I don't think you could really say either one of them initiated it. I don't think you could really say that either one of them was the aggressor. I mean, maybe you could argue Toni was just by the nature of coming out, but they just started that, like you said, hockey fighting.
Yeah, and it was at the same time. I watched it, but they started throwing hands at pretty much exactly the same time.
Yeah. It's just surprising because that's not Toni's MO.
So I'm going to push back a little just because maybe you're right that it's not Toni's MO usually, but A, she's obviously changed since losing the title. And B, this just felt more of like a competitor thing where they didn't, because Toni didn't come out and attack her. She didn't blindside her or anything. She came out and stepped to her, and Stat stepped up, and they're like, all right, we're just going to do this now. We're not going to wait. So it didn't really feel like there was, again, talking about malice and being malicious and stuff. It didn't really feel like that. It just felt like, two, very big time competitors just wanting to do this now and not having to wait till Wrestle Dream.
I get what you're saying, and maybe I am looking into it too much. But I think when you put all the pieces together for Toni, I think it becomes more apparent. Just we're obviously going in a new direction for her, and it seems to be an aggressive direction that may or may not lead to a heel turn.
Yeah, and I do think that's possible. I just don't think maybe there was a small seed planted here, but it didn't seem too out of pocket for either woman. And then as for the Moxley Darby stuff, very curious to see how that match ends up going. I think Darby does win, but Moxley's going to put him through some shit.
Darby's going to put Renee on a cross and bring out the flamethrower.
First of all, it will be a symbol.
Fair enough. No religious imagery. He's going to tie her up and threaten to light her on fire with his torch, and that's going to be how Mox quits. Only way.
I mean,
it's not going to happen, but
yeah,
it's the only thing I could imagine that would make Jon Moxley say I quit.
If the heel face dynamics were reversed, I would 100% agree that's what happens. But I just don't think that Darby would ever do that, and at least his current character, and B, I also think that you turn Darby heel doing that.
I mean, he's a baby face threatening to burn a heel.
Well, Renee's a heel thing.
Standing by it.
Yeah, well, it's only to you. Everyone else, Renee is a serious babyface. And threatening to burn one of the most beloved people in all of wrestling alive is not going to go over well.
All I'm saying is this woman has been showing her true colors for some time now. And if I'm the only one who sees it, that's on y'all. But when she gets annoyed that Harley Cameron interrupts a segment, that's not babyface.
I think she was annoyed. I think exasperated was more the word.
Oh,
but
yeah.
look, if you want to keep going Bobby the Brain Heenan on Renee, then fine.
Will you stop? I know that's Gorilla, but still. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be shocked. No matter how we get there, I feel like quit matches are always sort of a letdown because you see these guys. No,
sorry,
sure.
I couldn't wait on that one.
It's true.
You've been doing this a lot, like
yeah,
Snidely Whiplash tonight, and so maybe it's you who's the heel.
She.
Do you got Muttley over there too? Or?
I don't know. I quit matches are always sort of a letdown because you have these guys just put each other through all hell, and then typically I find that the thing that makes the person quit is so much lesser than whatever we saw them go through earlier that it's like, that's what makes you say I quit.
Yeah.
Like they were electrocuting your nuts 2 minutes ago, but now that they threaten to hit you with a chair, you're like, whoa, too far. Not cool, homie.
Yeah. It'll be violent. I think hopefully this one goes a little different just because these two guys are so fucking crazy, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was the 6th anniversary of Dynamite. And I will admit, James, this felt like a very old school episode for a lot of reasons. One, it mostly focused around the wrestling, a lot of the storytelling, and was just in the ring instead of being with promos and stuff. Because I don't think we had a single segment where it was just an in-ring promo. We had a lot of post-match stuff, but no one really went out to the ring and spoke, which felt very OG AEW.
Yeah.
The other reason was they were having sound problems all night. So a beautiful tribute to the first year of Dynamite. But I thought all the matches were either, did their job to great or just fun or whatever you wanted to be. And we set up a lot of stuff for Wrestle Dream between a couple of title matches. So I think they're doing a good job building up to the pay-per-view.
How far are we from Wrestle Dream? Do you know?
That's a good question. You can talk about tonight, and I will look that up.
Yeah, guys, this was a fun episode of Dynamite, a fun anniversary. I saw some people say that they didn't do enough to celebrate the anniversary, and not to diminish because this is an accomplishment. 6 years is absolutely an accomplishment, but 6 isn't like a huge number. Like it's not a milestone number like this, like say 10 is gonna be.
Yeah.
Like when we hit 10, Toni should go all the flip out. Like, but until then, these anniversaries should just be treated as these are important episodes and stuff that we should celebrate, but it shouldn't be life changing.
Yeah, and they had the video package in there, but I mostly thought that they did a good job of trying to get some, original talents in there, talents that have been there a long time type of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like Statlander and Darby.
Yeah.
And Wheeler. Like, Wheeler's been there for a while.
He's been there a long time now.
So, and then, like I said, you had Hangman and Mox mixing it up together, and they've been there for the longest, since day one together. You had the Bucks and Kenny in the ring together as well as day oneers. So, I think they did everything right here. This was more of a celebration in terms of, hey, like this is what like OG AEW felt like, and we've come such a long way. So like we're kind of melding the two. I think they did a good job of that. Wrestle Dream is on October 18th, so that is a Saturday.
2 weeks from now, give or take.
Yes, so you have 2 more Dynamites and 3 more Collisions, or depending on what they do in terms of running Collision the week of the pay-per-view.
We have to talk about next week because we're going to have to figure out how we're doing some things.
Yeah, so next week is, I believe, Dynamite's on a Tuesday.
Title Tuesday
in Jacksonville. Yeah, what a good point. Not bad for a little t-shirt company.
Look how far they've come.
Yeah, so I guess we'll figure all that out off air, and we'll let you guys know. Probably put a text post here on YouTube and put it on Twitter and wherever else.
Just know it's going to be a headache.
Oh yeah,
three companies in one night.
What else is going on Tuesday next week?
Tuesday is the NXT TNA Invasion crossover.
Oh, and Dynamite. Why are they running because hockey's kicking off. Yep. I think next week on Wednesday.
No, I think it's playoffs, isn't it? That's why they're.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. TBS gets the MLB playoffs. Hockey doesn't kick off to the 8th. Lo siento. Or which would be Wednesday. Maybe it's the 9th. I'll look it up. Doesn't matter. It's hockey. It's the playoffs. Yeah. I think it's both actually.
Yeah.
I think because hockey is on TNT, so they couldn't bump Dynamite to TNT. And the playoffs, the MLB playoffs, are on TBS, so they had to bump it to Tuesday.
So all 3 companies are going all out on this Tuesday.
Again, all out was a couple weeks ago.
Okay, it's saying he'll probably forget about it and remember on Wednesday. Hey, come check us out afterwards. Then we'll probably have already filmed.
You just can't talk to us live, but if you leave a comment even after, we'll get around to it.
Yeah,
probably be Eric because he's bored, and so if someone's an asshole to you, it's him. But we'll definitely get around to it. All right. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. We appreciate it if you like to subscribe. If you like the video, let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the pod, and we'll continue to do it. And if you subscribe, you continue to get all the great stuff here on the channel. Obviously, as we just talked about, next Tuesday is going to be crazy between Dynamite being on Title Tuesday, and you have the NXT TNA crossover episode, at least the big battle with the Survivor Series stuff and everything. So you got that. We've also got, I'm assuming, the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow night.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So, for the TNA fans, be sure to check out James tomorrow on the Gym Pack Zone. And we've been doing our best to cover some Raws and some SmackDowns when some of the bigger stuff happens. So be sure to subscribe for all that, as well as any pay-per-views that come up in the future. If you want to check us out on any social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Blue Sky, you're here on YouTube. You can check all those links out in the description below. If you're over on Twitter or Facebook watching us and you want to follow us on some other stuff, at Twitter is at marketdown_pod. Instagram is at marketdownpod. YouTube.com/marketdown3665. Blue Sky is marketdownpod.bsky.social. Or as always, just search Marketdown Podcast on any and all platforms, and you will most likely find us there.
James, if you don't, leave hate comments to the other people who are interrupting our visibility, please.
don't do that, and we cannot condone those actions.
Live.
Because like liability issues. So don't do that. Don't be an asshole to people. Be nice online, as Danny said, and to animals as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. Good night to you as well. Good night to everyone else. I believe it was Maria in here, Tyler in here, Fernando in here, and happy birthday again, Dev. Good to see you guys. Is the sky blue on blue sky? Yes, it is. It's actually really nice over there.
No, it's Sky Blue, the wrestler on blue.
Is Sky Blue on blue sky? That's a good question. Maybe. There's actually, not to go too much longer, there is a thing they'll like make feeds and you can see a bunch of people from different things. And there's an AEW one. I know like Aubrey's on there. I know AEW is actually on there. So there's some wrestlers on. Bowens is on there. So it's fun over there. I like it.
Yeah.
So for James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Have a good one, everyone. And congratulations, David and Kat.
Yeah.